sorry, late. So today I actually did a video on dyeing my hair. It's kind of like a review. Yes, this is the after. No, I'm not happy. So, I mean, I'm not totally upset. It's whatever, life happens. It didn't really dye it. If you can see from my lamp, because I don't have the best lighting, it's got red tints. So I mean, it kind of did something. Didn't do what I expected, but you know, in this day and age, does anything ever turn out the way we wanted to? I mean, quarantine? Question mark? Anywho, so I did go ahead and style it. I do want to, you know, take pictures in the sun, maybe because probably still have time to take pictures in the sun, and then, you know, see if it's a little bit different of a look. But to be honest, it looks fairly similar, like really similar. But what are you gonna do? So, anywho, I'm still gonna post the video. I think it'll be great to give you guys like maybe some tips and tricks, or maybe, you know, I'm doing it completely wrong and you guys could tell me what to do. I mean, don't tell my boyfriend, but I'm not always right. So, but anywho, so, I mean, stay tuned, watch the video, tell me what you think. You are going to see me lip syncing a lot of Rascal Flatts because your girl's a country girl at heart. But, anywho, you ever like do your hair and then you can't stop touching it, and then you're like, oh, it's so clean and it's so great, and then you put your fingers all in it and it's like, why is it so oily? Which, by the way, the video you're going to see, so there's an old wives' tale that, and I think my hairdresser said it's a wives' tale, an old wives' tale. The ancient hairdressers used to tell you that you needed to have your hair really filthy before you dyed it. Now, my shout out to my hairdresser Bonnie, who's probably going to cringe if she sees this. I'm sorry. I don't have the money or the chance to come see you right now. So I did this and I'm sorry. But anywho, like I was saying, so the old wives' tale is that your hair had to be super filthy in order for the dye to latch onto it well and like wear very like long term. I'm almost at 98.7% positive that it's just an old wives' tale. You can do your hair clean, dirty, whatever. It'll take to it however it's going to take to it, because it's more about the strength of your hair. Does that stop me from waiting 3-4 days before doing my hair? No. I still always have it. Every time I do my hair at home, it has to be completely filthy. So you are going to see very oily hair. And that's okay, because your girl is oily. And you know what? It's going to keep me young forever, because my face is oily. My hair is oily. But anywho, yeah, so my hair was like super filthy in this video. And now it's so pretty, so pretty. But yeah, anyways, like when you touch your hair, you have all these oils on your fingers, and it's like it ruins it within like, you know, an hour. But that's okay, because I've been washing my hands so much, they are peeling all the dead skin. Yeah, I've been washing them that much that they're drying out. And so I really shouldn't have too much of a problem with that today. Yes, so shout out to Corona for giving me very dry hands. Thanks. That's the only thing you're good for, I guess, because what the heck, just saying, but not out there. But any hoopla, as my boyfriend always says. Shout out to SpongeBob. Yeah, so you're just gonna see like a short little video of, you know, me just kind of doing my hair in my fun loving bathroom, me looking my absolute best, like prime of prime in the video, just saying. But otherwise, yeah. And then, you know, if you guys have any questions, or, you know, like I said, give me any shout outs or comments if, you know, there's something you do differently. I'd love to hear it for the next time I maybe attempt the red. Now, and I don't want red. Like, that's the thing. I say red, but okay, there's a picture, and I'll have it inserted, that Kylie Jenner posted of her and Kendall, and the color in Kendall's hair is like perfection. It is like a reddish brown, and it's beautiful. It's like a fall color, and as a girl who is constantly falling, just kidding, not that kidding, not that far off, I am obsessed with fall colors, and I usually, so this is my natural kind of, like the dark with a red tint to it, so I'm looking in a mirror. I usually do this, or I have been blonde, and I've been back and forth for a few years now, and I just want to try something different. I'm so tired of going blonde, I'm not gonna lie to you, but at the same time, I'm like bored with dark, you know? Life is hard. Life is hard when you're quarantined and you can't get the, you know, the results that you want. But anyhow, guess there's bigger problems in this world, you know. I don't know them apparently, but anywho, so I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you have any comments to make, you know, hopefully positive ones, then just leave them below. Or if you have like any, you know, suggestions or anything like that, I am always open ears to hearing them. And other than that, I hope you enjoy the video. You guys have a great day. Bye. Alright guys, so first thing I do is I like to part my hair. I do like to part it in certain sections, so I'll take the majority of it and put it on top, and then I kind of prep for the second half of what I will dye next, just to make it a little bit easier going through. By the way, my hair is completely filthy, but you know, they say that it's supposed to help the dye, so might, you know, help, or maybe it will just be because I'm lazy. I did choose the Garnier NUTRISSE Ultra Color. It did say that the dark brown would go a little bit more red. The filter on here doesn't even show how red it should be, but you know, I was having some high hopes. You are going to enjoy some videos of me just jamming to, you know, my Rascal Flats. And I'm getting down, obviously, but so you can't see it due to the way that the camera is angled, and why would you want to when you can see that? I am going ahead, and with Garnier, what they do is they do label their products that they give you with letters. So A, of course, is the big like dye thing. Obviously that's good. It's the basically the big thing, and then you take the B, which is going to be that cream that you have to, it's like a white cream, you just kind of squeeze that into the dye container is what I'm going to call that. And then also, once I do that step, in a minute you're going to see me like run out real quick, and then I had to unfortunately get, run and get some scissors so that I could go ahead and cut the serum, which is part C. So in a second you're going to see me kind of do my thing. But so I'm just kind of mixing them all up right now, getting it all ready. I had some difficulties, obviously. It took me a couple minutes, but you know, I was just getting it all together. And of course, I've done Garnier products before, and I've done at-home dye before, so you typically, I mean, you do want to try a strand first. I, of course, don't. I am just familiar with the brand, so I just knew that my skin doesn't react to it. But yeah, so there was me just going to get scissors to cut for the serum. I poured that in, and then once you get all those in there, you're honestly just going to shake that up as well as you can so that they can all mix well together. I really got into it for a second. And now I'm going to go ahead Yeah, I'm a little extra. I'm not sorry. Now I'm going to go ahead, brush my hair through, just so that way when I do apply the dye, it's just a little bit easier. I don't really have a rhyme or reason the way I actually physically apply it onto the hair, but I do have a rhyme or reason for how I mix it in. I tend to drag the dye down to the root. The ends. If you're noticing, I actually don't touch my roots yet. So I am dragging it down to the ends, and then what I'm doing is I'm kind of mixing it. Like, if you could tell between my fingers, I'm kind of rubbing my pointer finger and like my thumb kind of thing together through there, trying to mix in that dye between each strand. I'll separate it with my fingers. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but the first thing I do is, like I said, I don't touch my roots. Roots naturally tend to dye a lot quicker than the rest of the hair, so I like to go in and, you know, my hair is kind of long, so I just go in, do the bottom half first, just the same method over and over again. I try to, when I reapply, you're noticing that I'm applying it to the dry areas at that point that are not drenched in the dye. So I just kind of run my fingers through the whole layer once I get that on there. Now, like I said, that sectioning now comes in handy because I don't have to take the whole head down and do this and that. I just go ahead and go into my second half, and same method, just running it through each part. And just trying to make sure, like I said, you don't want any dry parts, because then once you wash your hair, if you were to leave the dry parts, you're going to notice possibly like little chunks or leopard spots sometimes. If your hair does take to the dye really well, it could be extremely noticeable. So just kind of make sure that when you're doing this method, if you're doing it on yourself especially, you're just kind of going over it a few times. It doesn't hurt to take caution when doing your own hair like that and trying to make sure it's perfect. So I just kind of run it through each layers together, combining them. I'm always really big on my ends. I get really nervous, even though I personally feel like my hair takes the like dye really well on the ends. It's always the first thing to fade for me. If you can kind of tell from the last time I did my hair, you can see that there's certain areas that are a little bit lighter than the rest. So naturally I tried to like drench those areas. So I just kind of went back in and, just doing each section same way as I can, to make sure that every piece of hair gets that dye on it. And obviously I have to brush my hair. Like I mentioned, it's a little filthy, but so just gonna keep going there. One thing I did notice is when I do brush my hair with the, once it's dyed, like once I've put some dye on that area and I've brushed it through, that's another way. So instead of just running your fingers through, if you brush it through, it kind of does, like, let's say you don't want to do your roots, it does kind of give that natural look to it, brushing that dye through the rest of your hair. Obviously, right after you're done, you do want to wash your brush because you don't want, gunk getting in there or getting gross. But yeah, I just used my regular hairbrush, kind of just took it from the roots to the bottom at that point, because there's not much on the actual brush for me to kind of worry about my roots. Dropped dye on my shirt, and then I dropped it on my bathroom rug. But as you can tell, I was clearly really heartbroken by it. I just kind of kept going. What are you gonna do? It's life. I'll just buy a new rug and a new shirt. So that's kind of my last piece that I'm doing. I'm still avoiding the roots. I'm not getting too far up in there. I'm just kind of doing right where you know, right before the roots, maybe about an inch, half an inch. Just brushing from top to bottom now, root to ends. Now what you're gonna see me do is just something I've always done, is I actually kind of go ahead and put my hair back in the clips to separate, and I go in and do my roots now. So just because you can't see the back of your head doesn't mean it's not important to do. So I like to make sure, because I also tend to put my hair up a lot, sometimes in fun positions, like, or styles, I mean, where I'll put it up in like pigtails, ponytails, but I'm always super concerned about the back of my head. So just because I don't want it to be like faded out, or you can tell, like, you know, sharp lines. So I do kind of get that real quick. And, you know, you always want to make sure behind the ears as well, which you'll see me get. I just kind of go all the way through. Your roots are super easy, though. Once you do the rest of your hair, your roots are like bang, bang out. Because you're brushing it through and through and through, you know what I mean? And so you're really just getting the major parts. I don't know if you notice when I do it, though, I'm kind of actually touching the top of where the clip is, too. So, like, the bottom of the hairs that are in the clip, if that makes sense. So where those roots are, of course, you want to get those baby hairs near the face. Those are, I guess, kind of important. By the way, if you see me make funny faces in this, or like my eyes like blink a lot, the dye was so strong, like I thought my eyes were burning. I definitely should have had the vent on. So I'm just getting in there. Luckily, the way my bathroom is, I have mirrors on the sides of the walls, like, and the giant one in front. So there's like 3 in my bathroom, one in front and then one on each side. There I am getting the roots. So like you'll notice me, I'm like super lucky the way I have it set up is I can see the back of my head at every angle. So now I'm just going in for good measure all over for the extra parts that I didn't separate, just so I can really get that in there. And then, of course, brush it right through. Brush it right through. And I don't know if you remember me mentioning how OCD I was about the ends of my hair. So I'm just kind of going back in for good measure. I had a lot of dye left over, actually. So that is one thing I will say I do like about Garnier is I had bought 2 boxes because my hair had gotten a lot longer since the last time I dyed it. So I was really nervous about needing 2, but I still had a bunch left over. So that is a major plus in my book, is the amount of product that they give you in one box. So yeah, guys, that's it. And here's a picture of me going out into the sun like I did mention in my intro. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Watching. Bye.